Nigeria is a great country, a very, very, very blessed country. God bless this country. Not just with the mineral resources, not just with the resources we have on this land, but the people, yes. Nigerians are very, very unique people. You see, we thrive at whatever we do, and that's why all over the world, whenever we go to study, we bag the first class of those universities. We go outside this country, we're the best doctors, the best engineers, the best ICT people. We are just everywhere doing amazing things. And but it looks like we're putting all those success in jeopardy because of the decline in our reading culture. Back in the days, libraries everywhere. We'll go sit down, pick up a book, read at home. You have time to spare when you're not doing household chores, you're reading. But now, that is not the case. What could be responsible? That is why this morning I am very, very happy that to meet someone who is doing something amazing in this regard. Yes, I'm talking about Jonathan Isa, who is the lead strategist for I Read Consulting. Yes, let's meet you. I'm sure what he has to share with us today is one you'll find interesting. Good morning, Jonathan. Good morning. Yes. It's my pleasure to meet you, especially knowing that what you're doing is deliberately tailored towards ensuring that Nigerian success stories are it's not something that will become what we say past glories. Yes, because with all the Okonjo-Iwealas of today, Amina Muhammad, and all those people, what is so encouraging everybody that we call our own and we are proud to say, yeah, they are Nigerians. If we fail to cultivate the attitude that made these people great in our younger generation, we'll sit back one year and say, we used to be great at this. We hope we will not get to that point. Yes, so, but I acknowledge what you're doing, and it's such a pleasure meeting you. Welcome on the program. Now, let's start by understanding the problem. The problem itself is there's a decline in the reading culture. Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely. I agree, and probably it's an ongoing conversation which I am of course directly involved in because of the work we do at IB.
Okay.
There is this satisfaction, this apathy towards it, probably because of the advance in technology. You agree with us that the attention span is on a massive decline.
That's very
We
true.
would also agree that people do not necessarily connect with probably the traditional ways of reading that our fathers and the people you mentioned also utilize. So I agree to the 5% that there's a decline. However, that's why I mentioned that aspect.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. Now, talking about your organization and then the problem itself being that perhaps maybe some of the ways we or our forefathers read is no longer fashionable or something that can be sustained. Uh, what in your experience now, in your experience, I just want you to marry the digital technology that we have now and the social media and how it's what differentiates it from our traditional reading culture.
Okay, so if you look at the whole scheme of the advance in technology,
Yes.
I think it has positives and negatives. Regardless of the fact that we look at it from the negative side, I think I have to first agree that it has done so much for people. As an author, it has aided the distribution of my books. Over 6,000 copies of my books distributed to
Wonderful.
places I have not been. So that
Through the online.
yes, so I tell my book to people to come out in hard copy.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So that's also something. Also the fact that it makes information readily available. You can carry a bulk of information in your pocket. So I think that the advance in technology has, in to a great extent, contributed positively to the knowledge gains, to the transfer of information across time. However, when we now come to the issue of reading, I think in a way, negatively, it's that deprived a generation of that massive experience with wisdom. Everything is tailored in tidbits now. As a writer, I can tell you that when I write, I'm conscious of the fact that my reader may need just 5 seconds to decide whether he will continue reading whatever I wrote. So that in a way deprives us of that immersive experience with books. So you will find people not really digging deep. I tell my people always that the information people put out there is the information they will, out of the main they already have. Right? And in fact, social media, for instance, the algorithm is designed in a very haphazard. So you can move from an educational content to an entertainment content to a spiritual content and then back to an educational content. So you find that people know so much, but they cannot transit into that applicative dimension because it is not structured. Right? So you are learning so many things, but you have information that you can't call knowledge and you can't translate into wisdom. So that immersive experience is what you are saying.
Exactly. I agree with you. Now let me uh, let me understand this because I had an experience one time around Beggar Junction. It used to be a beehive of activities in the evening, and then you'll find different people putting their wares on the ground and selling. Now, there's this man that always sells books, and some of those little toys we would admire. The horse that you press into a little balloon and it will make some moves and all of that. So I had come there admiring that thing, and interestingly, I looked at a book, The Mayor of Casterbridge, and somebody standing there was watching me as I admired the book. Now, his fascination was I was looking at that book instead of being interested with the toys that were by the side. And for that reason, he bought that book and gave it to me. And when I took that book home, of course, it was a book far advanced for my age.
Classic.
Yes, but I wanted to get the value that that man has paid for that book. So I have to force myself to read page one, page two, read the whole book, not understanding, coming back to page one, page two, read the whole book, getting better clarity until I was able to delve into the language of the writer. I was able to understand the terminologies. I was able to understand what he meant by certain words and sentences and everything. But with the ebook, audiobooks, and the way these books are laid on the net now, it will look like it is hard to give it that attention.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I do to an extent. However, from where I stand as a reading experience coach, what we are doing in terms of strategy is to now create that level of connection to any format of books. In fact, if I say I've read over 100 books this year, it will not be hype. It's real, right? I have a literary list of over 101 books that I've completed this year. And a bulk of it is a mix of audiobooks, soft copies, and hard copies. So I encourage everybody to not limit yourself. You know, there's that I am a hard copy person, I am an ebook person. You are an everything person. Because if you look at the schedule, the level of activities that call for our attention at the same time, it's necessary, yeah, to maximize all the opportunities. So what we do at IRE is to systematize the process. We create a better community that runs on superior knowledge, levels of knowledge, help you understand that the reader is more important than what is being read first. And then tell you that if the fact that you're not reading is not because you've not read a great book. And J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter series, confirms that. Yes. That if you're not reading, you probably have not found a good book. And then, so we have the view component, which is the reader component, the book component, and then the pattern component. So we have a system where we divide complex or lump sum amount of content into divisible bits that can be consumed. Right? I have a reading capacity of over 300 pages at a sitting, but I don't use it, right? Because I have other things to do. So I still find a way to subdivide using the I read model. So as a person, and as a system now, the hub, we are creating the solutions. We've done it for the last 5 years, right? Covering over 2,000 readers across 14 nations, spreading this message that it's not an African problem, right? It is solvable. And so we have the solutions and we encourage people to take advantage of the solutions while we also maximize it ourselves. So we're living it and people are seeing the possibilities and connecting to it.
I like what you guys are doing there. It just speaks so much the possibility of us understanding that. In fact, I like something you just said. You said it's not an African problem.
At all.
Because it is, there's a saying that says if you want to hide something from an African, put it in a book.
Sincerely, that quote is why I read of it. I tell people that I need to prove that quote wrong.
Wow.
Yes, it is to that end that we're doing what we do because it doesn't make sense to me. Even as a young boy, it didn't make sense to me because if I have the capacity to understand complex mathematical equations, then why can't I translate a book written in English? So and for me, that's why what we're doing. And thank God we're making progress with it.
Okay. I was going to ask you what the role of technology is in revitalizing reading culture, but I think you've already explained that by telling me how you've designed the system at iRead.
Yeah,
So can you just tell us a bit more of the system, this reading
yeah,
system?
so I read is built on a community system, right? We believe that your ability to not complete a book is easier when those around you don't read. Right? If those around you don't read, you have a higher chance of not reading. And so we built a community system that thrives on effective accountability. I know accountability is like a two-pronged ladder that sits on vulnerability and responsibility. Right? So we connect people who have that ability to share that vulnerabilities. I can't read, I can't okay, there's somebody who is reading. There's always an iron to sharpen your iron, basically. And then we teach the art of reading. We do not assume. We teach people to read, right? You think you can read, but when you go through our master class, you now realize that you truly have certain layers of information you still need. And then we put them in the community and we leverage technology also using that of third party applications to do that. So for me, that's it. We now have different engagements, monthly engagements, periodic engagements, book suggestions, where we for the service where you have the liberty to pick a book for yourself. So it's more like making you read like you're not reading, right? We believe that reading should be like eating, taking your bath. It's part of your life. So we're making it a life rather than an act. So through that effective commitment, and it's something that is beautiful.
Okay. Nigeria has a vast population of smartphone owners. Like, we could argue that almost every village in this country has a smartphone, and there's a wide network reach. Even if the network is not in that village, trust me, the phone is in that village. And it will amaze us to know that many of those people actually read things written, Facebook, the rest, but they are not reading books. And that's where the problem is. So now my question is this accessibility to technology, smartphones especially, should it not drive that we should have more readers of books rather than people who read TikTok and read Facebook and read things like that?
So it's a dilemma on its own.
Okay.
So people could spend hundreds of thousands buying books in the past, right? If you needed wisdom from maybe your favorite author, maybe spare them to me, you would have to travel look for these books in bookshop. I'm currently looking for a book for the last 6 months. I'm yet to find it because it's out of stock and all of that. But today, all of these are available at your fingertips. That's a buy or even available for free on certain platforms. So I think the challenge here is we lending our voice to this idea of reading so that more persons can see the benefit. You spoke about the successful people of our time. Success has a language, it's called action. And so people who take action will find success, definitely. However, people don't do because they don't know to do. So if you truly know the how to, you will do. So when people are deficient or are holding back, I can almost guarantee that it's a knowledge problem. So you find out that we are not taking actions because we do not know how to take actions, and we're not seeing the need to close the knowledge gap. Our life is always going to be a reflection of what we know or don't know, what we do or don't do, and who we know or don't know. So that knowledge domain, the action domain, and the people domain speaks largely to the reflection, like a report card of our lives in essence. So for me as a person, I am an unapologetic advocate for reading because if I truly know what can be, then I can be what I've read.
Well, you heard that. People will not take action because they do not know. And that is very, very instructive for me. And as such, I'm taking that to heart. This morning, I've been having this beautiful conversation with Jonathan Issa. He's an author and also the lead strategist for iRead Africa, an organization that focuses on demystifying the thought that if you need to keep knowledge hidden from the black man, put it in a book. And so far, they are doing some amazing things through the system they have in IRA. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, I'm sure there's something or two he has to tell us that could make us better readers. So let's take the short break. We'll be back soon. Welcome back. The program is still Good Morning Abuja. And yes, Jonathan Issa is still here. And we are still talking about the decline in reading culture, especially for us Africans and particularly here in Nigeria. Now, Mr. Jonathan, I'd like to explore some of these other things you do now at iRead. That's making us recover some of that the percentages we've lost in our reading culture.
Yeah. So we started as a virtual community 5 years ago.
Okay.
And so we started quite uniquely. We started with just 20 persons. Today, as of last year, we hit 514 persons across 14 nations.
Wonderful.
We spread, we have an expression in Zambia, have representations in Poland and a few other countries, cutting across Africans and people of other descents too. So when we thought about it, and we discovered that the online platform offers us a lot of reach. And so from last year, we started extending our tentacles out there. So this year, we have physical hangouts across 5 states in Nigeria. We had in Lagos, Ibadan, we had in Bondo, we had in Benue, and then, of course, in Abuja. Bringing together about 200 to 300 people across the states to just engage physically. I used to, we're trying to convince you that you're not alone, right? You're not alone on the reading journey. You're not alone on the struggles, right? And all of that.
You and author also.
I am.
Yes. Now, you have some books. Tell us a little, just very snippets of some of the books you have and how we can get them so that it's not seeing Jonathan now, it's reading Jonathan that I am most interested in next.
Yeah. So I today I have 5 books.
Okay.
I had just one dream, to just author one book. So it's beautiful that I have 5 now. My first book was released in 2020. Started the Uncommon You,
Okay.
Discover and Unleash Your Originality. I also have a book on communication and public speaking. It's titled Public Speaking on Max, Secrets Experts Hide from You About Public Speaking. Um, I am big on sustainability. I call it yes, right? So I wrote a book on, I titled Are You Better Than a Matchstick? How to Conquer the Fading Passion Syndrome. So it basically speaks to the idea that you can start something and hold on to it for at least a minimum of 10 years. The idea behind the book is if you don't want to last, don't start. Right. Also wrote a book on friendship. My dear friend John Eche, talking about like a practical guide to building lasting same gender friendship. And the rationale behind it is people don't have issues when it comes to cross gender, like male to female relationship are usually good. And when it's female to female, male to male, there are a lot of issues. So we use our friendship to tell that story.
Okay.
Among other things. So my books are readily available across all platforms. Jonathan Issa is also my handle across all platforms.
Well, there you have it. Jonathan Issa, you can find him on all platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or X now, as Twitter is called. You can just find him, and perhaps by visiting his page, you'll be able to gain some knowledge on how you can become a better reader. The decline in our reading culture is something that is worrisome, and we must begin to take deliberate actions now if we intend to wake up one day and say, yes, we still the best when Africa is concerned as far as education. And trust me, we have good representations now, but if we do not sustain it, then it will be past glory, as I say. The program is still Good Morning Abuja, and we are having an amazing time. Let's go enjoy some music while we let the message that Jonathan Issa shared with us sink in. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's been amazing.
Yes, and it's been a pleasure from our end, and of course, from the end of our viewers, I can say. So let's have some music. When we come back, there's still a lot more on the program. Welcome back. The program is still Good Morning Abuja, and yes, there was some music there to, you know, keep us entertained this morning. This morning, personal branding is what we will be discussing with my next guest. And guess what? I'm sure you know who this guest is. It's so good to see you again. It's been such a while.
It's been a while. It's been a
Yes.
while.
Well, Abdul Hakim Abdul Karim Adeza is an entrepreneur. He is a business coach. He's, by my own description, a life coach. He is a motivational speaker. He is a lot of things built into one person. But basically, what he's passionate about is how to create for you an identity that translates to flow of cash. Hope I'm right.
Exactly. You got it right.
So this morning we are talking about personal branding.
Yes.
At such a time that we live in, why is personal branding still necessary?
Thank you very much for that question. Thank you indeed. Personal branding, your character, your true self, your nature. Who are you or who do you want to be known as? This is what personal branding is. And the thing is, a lot of us are not intentional about it.
Hmm.
Even though we tell ourselves that I am A, B, C, I am a marketer, I am this, I am that, but outwardly, it's not visible. Just like your character, your attitude, and your behavior, what you showcase to the world is what you're known as, it's what you're known for.
Hmm.
So personal branding is important because you have a value to sell, but for people to do business with you, they need to trust you.
Hmm.
What do people trust if they don't know you? So personal branding is the sum total of the traits you put out there for people to identify and say, yes, this is the person that I want to interact, interface, and do business with.
Okay. Now that brings me to my next question. Since you said personal brand is a subtotal of your personality, your traits, why should people want to pay for those traits? How does your traits now equate money?
Aha, another interesting one. Okay, we're all Nigerians, right?
Yes.
And in the world today, we say it's not about what you know, what you have, the certificate that you have, and the likes. It's a matter of who you know.
Hmm.
I have a reverse question. If it's not a matter of what you know or what you have, but who you know, what stops you? What stops you from knowing people? If it's the network, what stops you? So, personal branding is your identity. If you're not intentional, you get it wrong. And you only have one opportunity to make a first impression.
Hmm. That's
When
very
you
true.
get it wrong, it's a whole lot of calamity fixing that. So, paying to get it right the first time has no price tag on it.
If I'm understanding you right now, I would like to create a scenario and see if we're on the same page when we talk about personal branding. Like, is it possible to have a business brand, a business personal brand, something that defines you in that business, and then to have you in your own space, your alone space with a different
Identity.
identity or brand altogether? Like, for
Yes.
example, um, you could find someone when it comes to the business is extra patient. He listens to the customer, he attends to the customer, but on the other side, he's actually an impatient person, always eager to dismiss people. Is it possible that would say somebody probably someone has a
Okay,
dual
yes.
identity, but
Yes. I think I get you. Now, in business, there are different types of business. If you're registering a business as a legal entity, you can have a business as a sole proprietorship, meaning you're the sole owner of that business. The liability, the gains, the profits of that business and yours, it's one and same. It's the same. You can also have a limited liability, meaning the business is an entity on its own, and you're looking at building a system around this business. So, for a sole proprietor business,
mm,
your identity is the business identity. If the
okay.
business is failing, you are failing.
Hmm.
But in a limited liability business, you're building a business as an entity, which means it has its own identity. Now, you can work on a professional brand around that business, the business brand itself.
Okay.
And you can also work on your own personal brand as an individual.
Okay.
Where people get it wrong is there are certain core values that you need to have as someone, irrespective of the type of business that you're running, be it sole proprietorship or the limited liability.
You cannot say you have a limited liability company that it's a business on its own. Then in your own life, you are known for scamming people, you're not genuine, you're not trustworthy. Indirectly, that trait will be reflected on the business because you are an entity that has a stake in that business. So cultivate the culture of having certain core values that are important, that are necessary towards creating a positive image. And if you have that, it doesn't matter. You can be a medical doctor and you have a business that runs solely agricultural products.
Hmm.
Those two can happen side by side. I hope this does clarify your
Yes, it
question.
does. It does. But now you also introduce a different dimension to it. A medical doctor who is a farmer. It brings to question now. Let's say, as a medical doctor, he has professionally trained as a medical doctor. Let's keep his personal traits aside now.
Okay.
Now, as a farmer, probably driven by passion or by the need, whether environmental, whether financial, or whatever it is, wouldn't there be a conflict of this doctor and this farmer? That is assuming he's not even going to be, say, an animal doctor. That is, he's not a veterinary doctor coming. Let's assume he's a doctor, a general doctor that treats humans, and then he's delving into the world of agriculture. So he plants crops and harvests them. Wouldn't there be a conflict of identity now?
Not really, not really. As a medical doctor, you're a professional, right?
Yes.
And what you actually need in order to run a successful entrepreneurial venture are three things. The first is the idea. The second is the implementation strategy, the operation system.
Okay.
The final is the check and balance. Who is putting accountability framework in place to ensure there's check and balance? You can hire all three
Hmm.
and be an oversight. You're just outside, not taking any parts. Once in a while, you come to review. Is this thing going well? You can even pay people to review. What you're just there doing is set the system, go outside the system, and earn from it.
Wow.
That's entrepreneurship. So a doctor can have a business in trading. A doctor can have a business that does logistics. A doctor can be a communication specialist, right? Or have a brand that does that. And you don't necessarily need to be present to do it. You just earn from it.
That's interesting. I'm having some very, very, very. In fact, I'm learning some things now. Who knows? My personal branding process could have kickstarted, and I'm not yet aware. We'll go to a short break now. When we come back, I would like us to now begin to look at what are the steps you need to take to recreate your brand, to personalize your brand, to be able to understand why this is important. But that will be when we come back from this short break. Don't worry, Triple A is still here with us, and we'll be enjoying some more from his knowledge. Welcome back. The program is still Good Morning Abuja, and of course, Triple A is here. We've been talking about personal branding, and of course, he has shared his thoughts with us. He has told us from his professional capacity that personal branding is as important as the energy we breathe in business. So now, Adeza, say I am here now. Say I have a business. I'm a small entrepreneur, and I just have things going, but I don't even know how to grow this business, how to improve this business. I don't know how to own even this business. Okay, yeah, ownership by I am the owner, but there's no me in this business, and I like to put me in this business. What should I do?
Ah, an interesting one. This is something that is highly, highly paid for and really, really expensive, I
Wow,
must say.
wow.
I'll give this for free. The first is intentionality. The moment you speak it out there to the universe that I want to own this, I want to be fully present, I want to take charge, and I want to be known synonymously for this, then you're ready to get to work. That's the first step. The next step is a series of programs that I would advise that if you're really interested in, you should check us out. It's African Guru Academy across all platforms.
Okay,
African Guru Academy.
amazing.
You can reach out and we'll take it up from there.
Okay, so you see, what as just give us like three things
Three
that you
things.
need
Okay.
to do to probably put you in your business.
Okay. We talked about intentionality. That's a fact. The second is mission. If you're not defined as to your operational area, then it's difficult for people to know to come to you.
Okay.
If I am in need of a dental surgery, I wouldn't go to the hospital to meet a general practitioner. Then it's just trial and error. It's like saying, I'm very, very hungry. And instead of going to a restaurant to eat, I walk to a fish pond that I'm hungry. It's possible that they might dish that for me, but that's not their call. Niche down, very important. Then, in niching down, it's important to define your ideal clients.
Hmm.
Who needs your service? People don't pay you because you have a fancy brand. People don't pay you because you have a fancy face or a fancy name. What they pay you for is because they have a problem and you have a means to make that problem go away. So
Okay.
who are the people that have that problem that you can make go away? The moment you identify those people, your efforts is now streamlined in identifying and reaching those people. Repeatedly reaching them with value will let them know that, oh, this person can solve this for me. And as it is said, the idea of a business is to reach more people with what you have to offer. Reaching people can be very strenuous, and that's the reason client modeling is important. Know who your ideal client is. The moment you know who your ideal client is, you know when to reach out to them, how to reach out to them, and what to reach out to them with. Reaching out to 10 leads, 10 leads will help you to convert to at least one client. But in order to get 10 leads, you need to reach out to 100 people.
Hmm.
To reach out to 100 people, generate 10 leads, and convert one.
Wonderful. Amazing. This is this is like a mathematical calculation.
Yeah,
It's like
it
you're
is.
playing chess here.
It
You
is.
move this way, you move this way
It
in order to
is.
get to this point,
It
and
is.
that's amazing. Now, how do you
Fix that.
fix this? Because it seems like the what inspired me to want to open that restaurant, the things that makes me unique in this business.
You're losing touch with
I'm
that.
losing touch with that because
I
my
get
staffs
that.
are not following.
I totally
Also,
get
that is
that.
what I want us to look at.
I
Uh,
totally understand.
your personal branding, it gets lost when there are other personalities now involved.
I totally get that. The human resource aspect of any business is a very important component of that business.
Okay.
There's a webinar we did sometime early this year, and it was tagged the attitude of branding. It's very important. If you have people in your business, the reason they exist in that business is to help you grow, succeed, and expand. It's important that the culture and the core value of that business is instilled in them. They're either helping you get to your goal or they leave.
Hmm.
It's as simple as that. You cannot come to my business and fail that business. If it crumbles, you won't earn. If it crumbles, I don't earn. So it's important that core values and culture of a business is ingrained into every employer and employee, not just the employer, an employee of that business. And if you are not aligned with that goal, by all means, leave the business. By all means.
Now, personal branding, is it limited to business owners setting up businesses or businesses that are service driven? Say, I am an electrician, I am a plumber, I am a skilled worker. Should I have personal
Branding.
brand?
Yes. Personal branding is something for everybody to think of. Even children have their personal brand. Now, as a business person, the difference between the electrician that gets 2,000 naira to fix an appliance and an electrician that gets $1 million to fix are two things. The first is what he knows. The second is who is rendering that service to.
Hmm.
The first person that renders the service and gets 2,000, it's in a local vicinity that people there probably don't even value his service. It's possible that he's more skilled than the person that earns the millions. But who are you rendering that service to? So, personal branding defines your business. and tells people that you put life into what you do. And there's no touch to it. Personal brand helps you to fix your price. If today someone in the local community that has been an electrician in that local community for the past 20 years was charging 2,000 to 5,000 naira to fix that, whatever he's fixing, the moment he tells these guys that, hey, my money is now 10,000, the country has, more than 90% of his customers will leave him. It's only natural. Personal brand is for him to redefine himself, tell himself, this is what I want, and I'm ready to get to it. Then he starts looking for his ideal clients that matches his new identified brand, personal
Amazing.
brand.
Amazing. Well, you're hearing it from the maestro himself, talking about creating your brand, personalizing your brand, and bringing value to that brand as it relates to exchanging the value into cash.
Yes,
Yes,
cash.
because that's the whole idea.
Cash is king.
Is king. So, getting more of that cash means you need to work on yourself. And that is one thing that Abdul Karim Abdeza Abdul Hakim is a master of, and you need to really go check out his pages on all his handle on all social media and see the amazing things they do. Book a training, do something, learn from the coach himself, and I'm sure when you do, you will redefine your brand and you redefine your personality. I intend to do so. So when you see some changes in me, present to bring this program to you, you should know that I have had the privilege of learning a thing or two. The program is still Good Morning Abuja, but before we go, let's share your final thoughts on how businesses should cope in this trying time.
Times are hard, things are difficult, life is getting really unbearable. There are two things to do: give up and fade into oblivion, or get up and ask yourself, the people that are thriving, how are they doing it? Somebody benefits from any challenge that exists at any point in time. Somebody's benefiting. How do you benefit from there? If your why is really strong, the why you started, if it's really strong, you will find a way to resolve the how. Get up, get busy, and ensure the why is that powerful. You'll get the rest. Thank you.
All right, you heard it. Get up, get ready, and you would be the best at what you do. That is the final words from Adeza this morning. Thank you so much, Adeza. I know how busy you are. I know getting you to even come on this show takes you off so many clients, but then you do this just be able to give back to our viewers. So we sincerely appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
So the program is still Good Morning Abuja. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, but now let's go enjoy some more music. When we come back, trust me, there's still a lot on the